Today we're gonna go over all the 1 toughness creatures that are now unplayable in Modern. So, our journey starts with Plague Engineer, a black 2 generic 2/2 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, and all creatures of the chosen type get -1/-1. Which was just a beating to basically not even to the typal decks, but to anything that had 1 toughness creatures, because this thing just said enter the battlefield, and those 1 toughness creatures, they are dead. And then Renin 6, which has the -1 ability on it for 2 mana. Deals 1 damage to any target, but wait, there's more. Then they came out with Fury, which was a not unreasonably costed, or I don't know, like pretty aggressively costed 5 mana 3/3 that when it enters the battlefield, you're gonna deal 4 damage divided as you choose to any creatures and or planeswalkers. So I mean, like, you can pitch a red card to play this on turn 1, or you could just wait to get to 5 mana, and that could be like a 5-for-1 in some cases. Now at this point, there weren't that many 1 toughness creatures left. There were some. If I challenge you to name 10 1 toughness creatures in Modern, you'd probably reach 5. But then they came out with the Orcish Bowmasters, black 1 generic 1/1 Orc Archer, with Flash for no reason. When Orcish Bowmasters enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target. Then you amass Orcs 1. This card would have been relatively fair if it just had no ETB. If you drew extra cards, if you're cheating on card advantage, all right, you get pinged to death, and also I'm gonna get more orcs. But instead, you like literally got more. You literally would snipe at least 1 thing and get a creature. So this is like a 3-for-1 because you get 2 creatures and you can kill a 1 toughness creature. Now it's just gonna be a 2-for-0 because now, thanks to the Orcish Bowmasters, 1 toughness creatures have basically perished. They had an opportunity to ban this card today. They opted not to wait to see what happens. But even Wizards of the Coast today has admitted that there are no 1 toughness creatures seeing play. Not even Ragavan. Ragavan only sees play in other Orcish Bowmaster decks. But if you're playing like a fair deck with Ragavan, that's actually like going down the tubes. Alright, so let's start off with all the beautiful cards that once saw play. I've always wanted a Champion of the Parish for Merfolk. Now I don't, because it's probably not even going to help me. Champion of the Parish, a white 1/1 human soldier. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Champion of the Parish. Champion of the Parish used to be a champion. Start off as a 1/1 creature, and then would be like an 8/8 by, like, I don't know, turn 4 or 5, thanks to other humans entering the battlefield, and maybe also to Thal's Lieutenant. Was a great card. Saw tons of play in that human's deck. Was tier 1, won many tournaments. And now the champion has been retired. No longer a champion today. Dryad Arbor, actually that probably is still playable. I don't know about that one. Well, let's get Dryad Arbor on here. That, you know, you're starting off, I think Yawgmoth's still playing this card. I literally think Yawgmoth is still, because it's still like a force you can like flash and play with a fetch land. It's deck building restrict. I could be wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong here. All right, Houston with Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Thalia was an amazing card to basically make your decks way more clunky. Also actually slowed Tron down by quite a bit. I mean, if you want turn 3 Karn liberated, that was not going to happen anymore, because Thalia hitting the board means now you need 8 mana, which means you need like the 4th Tron piece, which, hey, another turn is like an eternity for the Tron deck. And therefore, you know, you get Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin, anything. It was a 2/1 first striker, non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Dark Confidant. Bobby. I miss Dark Confidant. I want the real Dark Confidant. There we go. There's the real one. It's a black 1 generic 2/1 human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. Greatness at any cost. I love the flavor text, and I really miss my opponents dying to their own Dark Confidant. Make no mistake, I also died to people's Dark Confidant. That's a lot of card advantage. You don't do anything about Dark Confidant, it just completely steals the game from you. Just absolutely destroys you. We got a super chat from Abe. One of your personal favorite, Master of Waves. It was. Truth be told, this thing was... not a fan of that art. This art's way better. Blue 3 generic 2-1, Pro Red. Once upon a time, this had protection from everything. Because, like, Fatal Push didn't exist. A lot of stuff didn't exist. Pro Red elementals you control get +1/+1 when Master of Waves enters the battlefield. Put a number of 1 0 blue elemental creature tokens onto the battlefield equal to your devotion to blue. So you have like 2 blue pips on the battlefield. You got these 3 2/1s. In addition to this 2/1, that was like 8 power for 4 mana, and it was diversified. Protection from Lightning Bolt. Still has protection from Wrenn and 6, thank God. Not protection from Bowmasters, though. Mikey J says, so like I should bulk up on Pauper staples? That's possible. Be careful, though. They got, what is it, throw into the fire in Pauper? Or cast into the fire. It's like a fire, it's like the fire side of a fire and ice. Really hurt. Turya with Snapcaster Mage. Truth be told, this does take... I just like all the OG arts around here. So the deal with Snapcaster Mage, it's a blue 1 generic 2/1 that flashes a creature back from your graveyard. Enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. That's fine, but also the Snapcaster Mage was like part of the value. It was a 2/1 creature that could deal damage. Also could be on defense to block some other creature. Now this thing is just completely... I mean, you play your Snapcaster Mage, they Bowmaster in response to the flashback thing. You lose your You're basically just spending 2 mana to flash something back from your graveyard. You might as well have just played another card in your hand. Toads with Birds of Paradise. Funny enough, this was seeing play in Yawgmoth, and they cut it! It's gone now! Green 0/1 flyer, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. They actually have opted now for Gilded Goose. Also, they also opt for, what's it called? Well, Gilded Goose for colored mana if they really need it. It's a green 0/2. It's got 2 toughness. You need 2 toughness today. I mean, 2 toughness is the new 1 toughness. Here's a battlefield. Get a food token, tap, sack a food token, add 1 mana of any color. The Gilded Goose. Also my favorite sound effect. On MTG Arena when the Gilded Goose enters the battlefield. I'm never unhappy when a Gilded Goose is cast against me on MTG Arena. But yeah, or Birds of Paradise. You've been around since Alpha and Beta. You're always there, hanging on to playability. And now you're gone. Young Pyre. Actually, I got one from you already. We've got to spread the love around, Henrik. Or sorry, Houston. Yeah, honk honk. Exactly. Gravecrawler. Probably this could still see play. Like, I actually think this probably could still see play. It just doesn't have the right deck right now. It's a black 2/1, can't block, but you can cast it from your graveyard. So you can Wrenn and 6 this all you want. Orcish Bowmaster, you keep coming back. The Gravecrawler keep coming back. It doesn't have a home right now. Bean Pot with Brazen Bar. I think people are still going to try to play this, but it's a lot worse. Like, this card has officially just tanked in playability. And it's such a cool card. It's a blue 1 generic. Return target non-land permanent opponent controls to its owner's hand. See, that side is still worthwhile for the decks that want it, like the Crashing Footfall players, even the Living End players. But the other side now is so weak. It was just a 3/1 flash with flying. I love this card. So much worse now, though. Probably on the verge of being cut from the deck, but the Petty Theft part is probably going to keep it around. And you can always just cast the 3/1 side against the decks that don't have an Orcish Bowmasters. They just retired it? All right. We salute your service, Brazen Borrower. We salute your service. Ball Lightning was never playable, so sorry about that, yo little Ted. Ball Lightning, not a very popular card. Good Freak with Phyrexian Revoker. Another, like, a Death in Taxes-like card. I actually played this card a few times. 2 mana, 2/1, enter the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. So it's like an activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. So it's like Pithing Needle, but on a creature. You get in there with that Phyrexian Revoker. Sometimes you tap your Vial, put a Phyrexian Revoker in play, and they don't even know what hit them. Great card. I love this card. Silvergill Adept by Argentina. Probably. I was thinking about maybe keeping this thing around, but Silvergill Adept, 2 mana, 2/1. Got to reveal a Merfolk from your hand to pay it for 2 mana. But when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. If an Orcish Bowmasters is already on the battlefield, this card now is really bad. Because it enters the battlefield, I'm going to draw my card, the Bowmaster triggers, it just kills my Silvergill Adept. Though, like, the Merfolk might have a little bit better time to play their 1 toughness creatures because they have a lot of lords, but still, like, pretty crap. Like, yeah, so it's possible that Silvergill Adept is about to go into retirement. Signal Pest, that's a great one. Affinity looked very differently before. I mean, used to, what did it have? I mean, we could probably name the old Affinity list, because that's been completely rendered unplayable. 1 mana, 0/1, Signal Pest. It's a pest, apparently. I didn't know pest is a creature type. Anyone have any siblings that are the pest creature type out there? Battle Cry. Whenever a creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Signal Pest can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. I can't imagine, like, Plague Engineer coming down and, like, naming pest. But, like, the deal is you throw out a bunch of Memnites, Ornithopters, and some other random stupid artifacts. Get in there with all of them! And Signal Pest boosts them up like no tomorrow. Memnite. Memnite is a 0/1/1 creature in that affinity deck. What else was in there? Steel Overseer. I think that was also like a one-time. Yeah, Steel Overseer. I'm gonna be playing this song, the sound effect a lot today. 2 mana, 1/1. Used to, and it was like one of those must-kill creatures on the spot. Because once you tap and put a counter on each artifact you control, that's a lot of value. That's a lot of value. Dragonrage Chandler is going down in numbers, but probably still playable. If not for the fact that you could cast Dragonrage Chandler already as a 3/3, but it's so much harder to do because Dragonrage Chandler just enabled herself. So whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil 1, and when you had Delirium, it had +2/+2 flying and attacked each combat if able. So it got to the 3/3 because you had it on the battlefield, but now, like, what are you going to do? Sandbag your Dragonrage Chandler and wait? That makes this card so much worse. Makes your draws a lot worse, and therefore, if you want, you need... I don't know if it's unplayable, but it's so much worse now. So much worse. DRC is better than Ragavan today? Probably not. Ragavan's probably still up there. Savannah Lions was never playable in this format. Today we're learning who's the commander players and who are the modern players. Orcish Lumberjack was amazing back in the days. What the hell is that? Orcish Lumberjack. That was the 1 toughness. I don't know if that's ever been in Modern. It's not even legal in Modern. But I'm sure it was great in Legacy. Wild Nikachu. I wonder if this is going to be... This card was banned, then unbanned, then unplayable, and then playable, and now maybe unplayable again. So if you play this on turn... So this 1-drop, you don't even want to play on turn 1. Because if you do play it on turn 1, you will certainly not have this thing a 3/3. Gets +1/+1 as long as you control Mountain. Oh, so maybe it will be a 2/2. But it's tough. It's a bit tough out there for Wild Nikachu. Still sees play, but I think it's bad. Well, it does have a home, so I guess you go turn 1. It's just not a 3/3, it's a 2/2. It's close, though. I don't even know. It's probably unplayable, but for different reasons. Okay, Elite Spellbinder. What an amazing card. Sees tons of play in Legacy because Ren and 6 is banned. And probably this card now doesn't see play because of Orcish Bowmasters. So, white 2 generic 3/1 human cleric with flying. Enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. This card, beautiful design, great. You know, we got salute, or we have to say sorry to Paulo Vito Dominarosa. Wins the world championship, gets a card designed, I guess, in his liking. I don't know if he had any input on this design, but now it's unplayable. You could say that with all the cards, these old world championship cards. And if you're a champion, your cards are garbage now. They're all straight into the dumpster. The Snapcaster Mages, the Dark Confidence, the Elite Spellbinders. Meddling Mage still up there, though. Still playable. Grim Lavamancer. Man. What to do with your graveyard? You just call a Grim Lavamancer. It knows what to do with your graveyard. A red 1/1 human wizard. Pay a red, tap, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to any target. That was an old one. That was an old timer. Yeah. It's gone now. It's also gone. Enchant Gaming says Stitcher Supplier. I actually don't agree with this. I'll tell you why. So first off, Stitcher Supplier is probably still a good card, and it's not a card that needs to be on the battlefield. I'm sure actually it would prefer to die. It's a black 1/1, enters the battlefield or dies, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. It's just asking to get pinged off by Ren and 6. Like, please! Hit me! What are you waiting for? Hit me! Says the Stitcher Supplier. So I don't think... This is not played because it doesn't have a home. But I don't think it's not played because 1 toughness creatures are getting wiped off the face of the earth. Station Disaster. Delver of Secrets. Better flip it fast. Yeah, whoa. Sever of Secrets. No, Delver. If anyone had any hopes of this card seeing play in Modern, well, no, it went from bad to worse. It's a 1/1 human. You have to reveal an instant or sorcery card off the top of your library, and if you do, it becomes a 3/2 creature. This was always like on the cusp of playability, but just never found the right footing. Now it might, because like what, they just unbanned Preordained, so the odds of flipping this thing have just like skyrocketed beyond belief. Or they always had Consider and stuff, so there was always some room to like stack some cards on top of your library. But yeah, this one toughness creature just went from not in contention to straight garbage. Beanpot, I can tell Beanpot you are a Modern player. Every single one of your suggestions are bangers. The Mausoleum Wanderer. Oh, the poor Spirits players. This is one of the best spirits in the game. A blue 1/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield under your control, Mausoleum Wanderer gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So like whenever you play a spirit, you buff up the Wanderer. And then sacrifice Mausoleum Wanderer. Counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays X, where X is Mausoleum Wanderer's power. Insane card. Just insane. Huge beating to the control decks, the combo decks. If you play with if your cards are too clunky, and it had, see the deal is a lot of stuff that taxed cards by like 1 didn't matter very much. The removal these days, it's like 0 mana or 1 mana. But this thing could get big enough that you could counter a Fatal Push when your opponent had 3 mana up, because the Wanderer could end up being 4 power, for example. What next we got? Web of Music with a Vendilion Click. One of my favorite cards that is... I feel like speculating on foils of this just in case Modern goes back to how it used to be. This used to be such an expensive card. Now it's nothing. It's like $3. It's just been pushed out of the format. Blue 1 generic for a 3/1 flash flying. Fairy Wizard for the fairy community out there. When it enters the battlefield, look at target player's hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player reveals the chosen card and puts it on the bottom. Then they draw a fresh card. But the thing is, you took their best card. You screwed over the combo players, the slow players, the control players. It was a fantastic flash speed threat. You'll be missed, Vendilion Click. You will be missed. Platonic Liquid with the super chat. Completely against the thing. Mog Fanatic. Yeah, you're just asking for the buzzer. I mean, well, it got worse. I mean, it'll die to a Plague Engineer. If there's Plague Engineer in play on Goblin, it still dies. You actually can't sack it in response. Because otherwise, it's it's a red 1/1. But you can sack it in response to any of, Orcish Bowmaster. Oh, you Orcish Bowmasters, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? I'll get a piece of you. Basically, this is the counter to Orcish Bowmasters. Load up on Mog Fanatics, people. Load up on Mog Fanatics. All right, I like this one from Tommy. Ice Fang Quaddle. I'm low-key assuming that Orcish Bowmasters was designed to beat this card. Like, I think that they thought, like, Ice Fang Quaddle is, like, a pretty big card, which it was at one time in Modern. So I don't know when they developed the Lord of the Rings set, but I thought in my mind, like, Orcish Bowmasters is, like, the key card to keep cards like Ice Fang Quaddle in check. It's a blue-green 1/1 with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and when Ice Fang Quaddle has Death Touch, as long as you control 3 other snow permanents. So if you try to flash in an Ice Fang Quaddle, then I can flash in Orcish Bowmaster, snipe off the Quaddle, and get another Sniperoonie because you drew an extra card, which was not your card, the card that you drew for the turn. So anyway, yeah, Ice Fang Quaddle is gonzo. Witherfang is, I miss my Ice Fang Quaddle. We all miss Ice Fang Quaddle. Hafiz with Flicker Wisp. An incredible utility creature from the Death and Taxes decks. White, 1 generic for a 3/1 elemental. It was an elemental! It could be played in an elemental deck with Omnath and such. Enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This card is a card that defined Magic. Like, it was magical. There was, like, Ensnaring Bridge in play, you Flicker Wisp it. Problematic Enchantment, you Flicker Wisp it. Some creature you can't get through, you Flicker Wisp it. And sometimes, how did it work? That sometimes things didn't come back. Was it with, I think it was with that other card, the creature. There's that 2/2 with Flash. If something enters the battlefield and it wasn't cast, you get exiled. So it had like a bit of a combo with a white creature. What was that card called, though? Someone help me. The Anti-Reanimator White Grizzly Bear. Containment Priest, Beanpot. Thank you. Like, look at those interactions! If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield, it wasn't cast, exile it instead. You don't get those anymore. We don't see that stuff. Now it's like, can you survive a Fury and an Orcish Bowmasters? No? Well, get the hell out of here. So yeah, so this thing is stone dead. We got Age XC Spaz with Hexdrinker. Hexdrinker's like career was pretty short. It's funny, this card came out when they decided to just absolutely obliterate the 1 toughness creatures. So it was like around for like 3 months and then was like gone. Green 2/1 creature with level up, which it's a cool card too. Like, you play it early and then you beef it up, level it up over time. Level 3 to 7 has protection from instants. That's like half the game. And then level 8 plus protection from everything. You got a 6/6 True Name Nemesis / Progenitus, whatever you want to call it. Whatever analogy works for you. Bloodghast. Bloodghast don't care. The card just doesn't have a. This is one of those cards that just doesn't have a home. It's like it's black 2/1, can't block, has haste as long as the opponent has 10 or less life. But whenever a land enters the battlefield, you can bring it back from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's like free. It's like, you can take millions of shots from that stuff. Risen Reef, probably on its way out. Probably on its way. Blue-green, 1 generic for a 1/1. Whenever Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, if you don't put the card on the battlefield, put it into your hand. Is that what it is? This card looks like garbage. 3 mana for a 1/1 creature? How could that see play? Except it overpowered Standard. It's not bad in Pioneer, and just completely obliterated people in Modern. You have access to Solitude, to Fury, to Subtlety, to Like, basically, any elemental that you pitch to get into play for free, you're going to get a little bit of value. You're going to get a land in play straight onto the battlefield. Or you draw a card, which is great value. Combos with itself. That's right. It's an elemental. This card always made me wonder why a vampire was also a ghost. Oh, you're talking about the Bloodghast? Oh, vampire spirit. That's right. I thought vampires couldn't die. And then if a vampire dies, doesn't it just go back to the original creature type? It's a vampire spirit at the same time. Questions we can't answer. Flavor conundrums. That could be another show one day. Divicarp, as someone who isn't playing much MTG and don't follow the actualities of the that game, why are 1 toughness creatures becoming unplayable? You have to see the beginning of this episode, but basically over the last 4 years, they've printed some high impact cards, Plague Engineer, Renin 6, Fury, and now Orcish Bowmasters, in addition to other stuff, Fire and Ice, Lava Dart and stuff, that has now like just rendered them pretty close to unplayable. Toads with Goblin Recruiter is just banned. It's hard banned everywhere. There's a lot of other Goblin cards, though, that are 1 toughness. I'm calling Goblin Recruiter, just to be clear. Yeah, that's the hard banned one. It's not seeing play because of those reasons. Why does everyone say Ball Light? Ball Lightning never saw play in Modern. That was never playable. Just not in the wheelhouse. We could go with, yeah, let's look at Eternal Witness. That used to see tons of play. That was like the value card. It's like green Snapcaster Mage. Green 1 generic for a 2/1 human shaman. Enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Some blue decks also played that card. It would splash green for Eternal Witness. She remembers every word spoken, from the hero's oath to the baby's cry. Yeah, but now 3 mana for regrowth? Get out of here! Just get out of here. I don't think Cauldron Familiar was ever in Modern. It never happened. Carrion Feeder. Okay, I can get around this. Carrion Feeder. You gotta kill it quickly. But it's usually, there's so much removal in Modern that it's not hard. So it's a black 1/1, can't block. You gotta sack a creature to put +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. But there's so much removal in Modern. Your opponent would just look at Carrion Feeder and just say, or you play Carrion Feeder, they would kill whatever creature's in play, and then they snipe it off with their other cards. What is Will-O-the-Wisp? I can't tell if you guys are trolling me or you're just commander players. Black 0/1 flying. Pay a black, regenerate Will-O-the-Wisp. Never saw play in Modern. Never. Alright, we're gonna look at more unplayable cards in Modern. But we gotta thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. Look at that. You can pre-order the Doctor Who set. I think there's gonna be a Jurassic Park set they announced. If you want to get all of them cards, you know where to go look. You go and get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. Do you know why? Because it supports the channel, and you can support yourself. Also by getting 5% off all your cards, whether it be singles or sealed product, using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Why do you want to rent? Because you never know how the metagame is going to evolve. One deck could be tier 1 and then go to tier 3 in a blink of an instant, whether cards get reprinted, banned, or unbanned. And you can hedge against all those risks when you are renting online with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B3R. Now back to more unplayable 1 toughness creatures. RIP to all the creatures. I probably should have got a bunch of funeral music for today. Probably should have done that. We've actually gone through quite a few of these. Curse Catcher, sure. I really don't like playing this card anymore. Blue 1/1, sack it to counter an instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1. Forget it. Not worth it. Champion Parish to end it all. You know what? Let's look at Sal's Lieutenant. Liu. Where's my modern people? White, 1 generic. What the hell? It's German! Wenn Thalius Lieutenant in Spiel kom, leg auf jeden anderen Mission, den du kontrollierst ein. +1/+1, Mark. I don't know how to yeah, that's as much as you can hear from me. I hope that the Germans have laughed at me. Alright, Thalius Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a counter on each other human you control, not itself. So you better believe that once so it's vulnerable to all the it puffs up everyone else except itself. The danger to itself. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalius Lieutenant. You gotta get that thing in there. Gotta get those creatures. Human still sees play. What, you play it? I think that's it. I haven't seen a human list for what, like 3 years? 4 years maybe? Orcish Bowmasters also dies to Orcish Bowmaster. I know, it's its own worst enemy. Blood Artist. Saw some niche play in some decks, but yeah. It did see play. The black 1 generic 0/1 vampire. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Heritage Druid. Can always count on you, Christopher B. Elves players. I'm so sorry for you. Most of them want to so badly play the classic combo elves. Just spew out those 1 toughness creatures and combo off with a bunch of mana and put something big in play. You just, I don't even know what they play anymore. It's a green 1/1 elf druid. Tap 3 untap elves you control. Add green to your mana pool. You could probably... Okay, what other elves are gone? What is there? Dryad Arb? No, not Dryad Arb. Arbor Elf. This card saw play outside of elves. This was a neat ramping card because you put Arbor Elf plus Utopia Sprawl. Like, this was a great combo. That was the magic of Modern. Like, Modern was beautiful because of stuff like this. You enchant a forest, you choose a color. Whenever the forest is tapped for mana, it adds, you add an additional 1 mana of the chosen color. So turn 1, Arbor Elf, plus turn 2, Utopia Sprawl gave you 4 mana. Because you play Arbor Elf on a forest. Then next turn, you tap the forest. Sorry, you tap a second forest to get Utopia Sprawl on the original forest. Actually, it doesn't matter what forest you put on. Tap for 2. Dryad Arbor untaps it. You add another 2. Boom. 4 mana. What next? We got Glistener Elf. RIP to Infect. Glistener Elf. And I guess when that Phyrexia all will be 1 set. That was your chance. That was a chance to get back in this game. Infect is such a dangerous mechanic, though. They don't want to go back. Yeah, it's a green 1/1 with Infect. It was one of the most prominent ones. Also, there was Blighted Agent. Nope. Oh, now I think about Inkmoth Nexus. Sort of sucks. Now, Inkmoth Nexus had protection from Wrenn and 6 because, like, I mean, Wrenn and 6 can't do anything at instant speed, but Bowmasters can. Also, same thing with Fury. Had protection from sorcery speed interaction, but Bowmasters now finally does it in for the Inkmoth Nexus. On the other hand, I also have to say that my card gets disqualified because it's technically not a creature. But it's a land. It's all a lot. It was a 1 toughness, whatever, creature thingy, mabobber. Does Tarmogoyf Wave count? Absolutely not. Elvish Visionary. Yep, not so good value anymore. Got that. Basically, you're cycling. That's all you're doing right now. Also, it's worse with Bowmasters. So, trigger on the stack, my elf friend. I'm going to play my Bowmasters. I'm going to ping off your Elvish Visionary. Oh, you're drawing an extra card for the turn? Well, then now I get another trigger. I get a Massa Orc again, and I snipe off another one of your creatures. Hit that Heritage Druid. Get a little 4 for 1 action over there. Great stuff. What else do we have here? The Seer. Probably not the no, yeah, it's good value. At least Seer can sack itself to scry 1, but yeah, like, why would you even want to play this card anymore? This used to be part of so many creature combo decks. It was just a good value card in general. You kill my creature, I sack it. I'll scry for more. No big deal. No problem. Eldrazi Mimic. For the Eldrazi Stompy players, the 2-mana 2/1. Whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may change Eldrazi Mimic's base power and toughness to that creature's power and toughness until end of turn. I have been smashed by this thing, like Eldrazi Mimic into Thought-Knot Seer, Eldrazi Mimic into Reality Smasher, so many times, but now on my turn, or even with the trigger on the stack, you can, like, snipe this thing off. Poor little guy. Esper Sentinel. The... What's it called? Thank you very much, MTG Homebrew. The, Rhystic Study on a 1-toughness creature, on a 1/1 creature for 1 mana. Artifact creature, human soldier. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. So a lot of play in Hammer Time. I think it saw some good play also in some versions of Death and Taxes, while they sort of existed. Eventually, the Death and Taxes players were like, well, F this, let's just play Hammer Time. It's basically... it's the closest we could get to playing a mono white deck in Modern. Oh, I love that! Zeger with the Rhystic Buddy. I like that. That's cute. What else do we got here? Soul Herder. Giving a lot of attention to Beanpot today because Beanpot knows what's up here. Okay, blue-white, 1 generic for a 1/1 spirit. Whole entire decks were built around this card. Until, not anymore though. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a counter on Soul Herder. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, and then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. The whole idea is you blink your creatures, get value, and the Soul Herder gets bigger. And you blink creatures with ETBs, and the value just gets out of control. It's a wild, wild card. Stuffy Doll was never hard in Modern. We did Delver of Secrets. I love how massive it is, but it is a 1/1. It's a lot of yeah, that is true! Well, okay, we gotta have like an art flavor fail or whatever. I guess maybe this is the Soul Herder after it's like blinked, I don't know, 20 creatures in one turn. This is like when it's plus 15, plus 15. But yeah, that is funny. Because they wouldn't want to showcase it when it's like an insect, you know? It's a tiny little bug. Toads, I'm not a Modern player. It's okay. I forgive you, Toads. Beanpot is the Modern player around here. I think I've run out of ideas. Come on, there's more. There's... Aegis of the Gods? That is not one. There's definitely way more 1-toughness creatures. We're not done yet. Maybe Lion Sash? It's close. White, 1 generic for a 1/1 equipment cat. Pay a white, exile target creature from target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a 1/1 counter on Lion Sash. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash, and you can reconfigure it. So there is a world where you can shoot this thing down. But it's like good graveyard hate anyway. No, maybe not. Maybe not anymore. Oh, did we look at Young Pyromancer? I guess not. Young Pyromancer. Once upon a time, this was a feared card in both Modern and Legacy. A red 1 generic 2/1 human shaman. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get a 1/1 red elemental creature token. Now all those elementals can be wiped away, including the Young Pyromancer. Goodbye. So long, Young Pyromancer. Even Mind Stencer from Houston. This used to be like, oops, mind. This used to be a Gotham card. It's a white 2 generic 2/1 bird wizard, flash and flying. So you play your Primeval Titan, for example, hoping to get 2 lands. You flash this in play. If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. Also is neat to get Tron too. If they played something like Sylvan Scrying or Expedition Map, crack it to look for the right Tron land. All of a sudden you gotta look for the top 4 cards of your library and you might find nothing. You might find absolutely bunk all. Did Cauldron Familiar see play? Cauldron Familiar. No. Not that I know of. I think some people have tried, but not really. That just wasn't... Just not strong enough for Modern. Or I could be... Am I wrong? Maybe there was a niche deck that played this thing, but not really. Over the last year, my Coffee and MTG is completely warped from modern players to like commander players. Oh, here we go. Toads with Selfless Spirit. That's a good one. Poor Spirit players. And also, this could see playing Death and Taxes as well. It's a white 1 generic 2/1 flyer. Sack, Selfless Spirit. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Even some people try to play this in Merfolk. So that was a neat thing. You could just splash a little white, or if you're already playing white, I mean, you can give your creatures indestructible. No problem. Slippery Bogle. Now, funny enough, this card is not targeted by Bowmasters. Not targeted by Wrenn and 6. Does get hit by Plague Engineer. Pretty hard, though. Oh, that is a good one. Auriok Champion. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold the fort. Okay, this card isn't seeing much play, but why? It isn't affected by Fury, isn't affected by Wrenn and 6, and still isn't affected by Orcish Bowmasters. Pro black and red. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. Is this card being slept on right now? It does die to Plague Engineer, but that like doesn't see a whole lot of play. It's interesting. It's not seeing play at all, but maybe for the wrong reasons. Here's a hold on, someone mentioned a really simple one. Where was it? Someone mentioned Noble Hierarch. I'm gonna give credit. Noble? Where's the Noble Hierarch? I swear I saw it! Or did I just see things? Oh, here it is. Maddie, Noble Hierarch. And we might as well, like, nail both of them. Okay, Noble Hierarch. Like, goodbye. Oop, wrong one. Green 0/1 with Exalted. Tapped out a green, white, and a blue. I mean, it was basically Birds of Paradise, because most of the time you just wanted those Bant colors anyway. And it just turned every singular attacking creature a little bit bigger. You had I died so many times to like 3 Noble Hierarchs on the battlefield, and some random 2/2 kept attacking me for like 5 damage. And then, of course, we've got also Ignoble Hierarch. This card is also going straight to the bin. It's a green 0/1 that was for the Jund colors. But it will not Jund anymore. It Jund no more. Scoot Swarm never saw play in Modern. Okay, let's look at... we'll look at some of these Martyr of Sand deck cards. So, we'll go... First off, we'll go with Tommy's suggestion of Martyr. Martyr of Sands. A white 1/1. Pay 1, reveal X white cards from your hand, sack it to gain 3 times X life, which was just an enabler for the Martyr of Sands, like, lifelink deck, which was a deck, by the way. It was a weird deck. But you have to pay that 1 mana. If you're tapped out, you're still going to get sniped off by the Bowmasters. Soul Warden also is part of some versions of these decks. But, like, grossly unplayable now. 1/1, just creatures enter the battlefield, you gain 1 life. This thing's gonna be dead on the spot in, like, 2 turns. Never gonna see play anymore. Battlefield Strix isn't even legal in Modern, Raw Boy. I find it cute to find out. We now know the people who play Commander and Modern, and the people who just play exclusively Commander. You guys are lost. Which is fine. It's okay. Yeah, danger. We did Hex Drinker already. Improved Recruiter. This is an interesting one. Because you don't... Like, it is true that, like, it's not good value anymore. You used to get, like, a 1/1 creature that could sort of block and, you know, impersonate a creature for a little while. But now it's just 3 mana tutor for something. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature card with power 2 or less. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. But, like, mostly you're playing this for, like, the tutoring aspect. So, I mean, if it dies, then it dies. Whatever. Yeah, Preordained is unbanned in Modern. Sorry for the Storm players, but it's too late. It doesn't do anything. Did we do Healer's Hawk? I don't know. Healer's Hawk. Oh, is that the 1/1 with, like, flying and lifelink? Okay, this card never saw play. But you know what that did see play in Modern was Squadron Hawk. And what's funny is this is card advantage. You can pay a white 1 generic for a 1/1, enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 3 cards named Squadron Hawk, reveal them, put it into your hand. Like, but in theory, you could try to grind out things like Wrenn and 6, Bowmasters, but in practice, I mean, you're just basically wasting your time. You'll just die on the spot. Web of Music, that's a great one. Vault Scourge. I used to fear this card. To some degree, I'm happy that this card is unplayable now. So it's effectively a 1 mana card because you can just pay the Phyrexian mana for a 1/1 with flying, and it's got lifelink. So you equip this thing with like a cranial plating or throw a bunch, like, I don't know, take your Arcbound Ravager, build up a bunch of counters on it, sack it to your Vault Scourge, and you basically can't deal with this 8/8 lifelinking menace. I like Welkin Hawk too. You people build some Hawk decks. Yeah, it pays for itself. Yeah, it pays for itself. You pay the 2 life, you get the 2 life back. What else do we have? Kataki's War. Wow, Kataki's War's Wage. So the good news for the Affinity players is that this card's now unplayable. It's a white 1 generic 2/1. All artifacts have at the beginning of your upkeep sack this artifact unless you pay 1. It was just a beating for the artifact players. But now, like, I don't think anyone wants to play this card. But you know, and then it does beg the question, is it playable anyway? Because if it's in your sideboard and you bring it in, like, what hate cards are the Affinity players going to have? Like, probably none? I don't know, they might play with Bowmasters or something now. They might. Knight of Autumn! This card doesn't really see play anymore, but probably for different reasons. I mean, you have to, if you pay it for 3 mana, it's a 2/1. Enters the battlefield, choose 1. You can put 2 counters on it, which is good. Destroy, or you can destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you can gain 4 life. So basically, this is just a 3 mana 4/3 because you're never going to want to choose these other 2 modes because it's pointless. You destroy an artifact or enchantment, and then this thing dies, and that's bad value. Portable Hole got Kataki. Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting. Mother of Runes is not even modern playable. Not even modern playable. Never was. General Furus Rokuric. Will this still... General Furus. Is that how we spell it? Alright. The 3 mana 3/1. Hexproof from Monocolor. Shove it, Orcish Bowmasters. But can't shove the Wrenn and 6. That's the problem. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token. So yeah, can't dodge Plague Engineer and can't dodge the Wrenn and 6. Does it dodge fire from Fire and Ice? I'm assuming it does. Fire and Ice, I'm assuming, is not considered a multicolored spell. I think when the fire's on the stack, that's just it. Hue with Step Links. It's funny that this card actually was modern playable quite a few times. The white 0/1 cat creature with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Snaplinks gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So basically, you have to be like a mono fetch lands deck. Play a fetch land, get +2/+2. Sack, get another land in play, another +2/+2. Attack for 4. You can also save up your fetch lands if necessary. Sack them all. Make this thing a huge creature. What else do we got here? Judge's Familiar was never modern playable. Never was. Void Mage Prodigy. What the hell was this? Oh, Kai. That's right. All right, well, it's on. Yeah, now it's on. If this card never did see play, but if ever does, now it's unplayable. I always have this card in the back of my mind. Is it time for this card to see play? Because I play Merfolk, but it has a lot of wizards in it. Like, there's a lot of Merfolk that are like a Merfolk and a wizard, like Silver Adapt, like Curse Catcher, like Mistcaller, and like, what if I play, because it's got this amazing ability, sack a wizard, counter target spell. Like, that's insane. But just never quite there, never quite works. I doubt it's legal, but Bolt Lightning? What's Bolt Lightning? And is that even a creature? Bolt Lightning. Or are you talking about just lightning bolts? Well, this is playable, but it's not even a 1 toughness creature. Wow. People reveal. I have no one left. I have no modern players left in my community, except for like Beanpot and Tommy Siddons, basically. What is this? Kodama? You guys just naming random cards now. What is, okay, is there a 1 toughness Kodama? What is this? Kodama of the center tree? Well, anyway, this was never, I've never heard of this card. If I've never heard of that card, it was never competitive in Modern. Vampire Hexmage. Alright, this card saw some niche play. Sure. I'll give it. And now it sucks. The black 2/1 first striker. Sack Vampire Hexmage, remove all counters from target permanent. If they unbanned, what's it called? Dark Depths from the ban list, this card would see instant play. Instantly. Does anyone still see? No, Instant Neonate is sort of gone too. But maybe also because like there's just no home for it? But I think it would be... What is the ability? It's got Menace, discard a card, sack it. Yeah, this would be a hard... I think even in this environment it would still be good. Because the whole point of putting in play is just to die. So I don't think this is a good example. It just has no home right now. It doesn't see play, honestly. But it just doesn't have a home right now. Like Dredge is not the biggest, baddest discard deck on the block. Valaki of God of Lies, sure. People used to cheat with this thing. With, what's it called? This and... what's the card called? Doesn't see much play anymore. The 5 mana... It had some sort of, like, converge-like ability. Oh, anyway, okay. Black 1 generic, 2/1. Bring to Light. It was cheated with Bring to Light. I think that's the card that you can still cheat. Search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery card with mana value less than or equal to the number of colors spent to cast the spell, exile, then shuffle. You may cast the card without paying its mana cost. And just the way the rules work! You got to flip! You got to directly put the flip side of Valaki, God of Lies, into play. Into Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. The 7 mana, 5 loyalty creature. Get an emblem with you may play cards exiled with Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. You may spend mana as low or mana of any color to cast those spells. +2, exile the top card of each player's library. -3, exile target artifact or creature. And then -8, exile all cards from all graveyards. Add triple red. But the problem is the front side sucks. It's absolute garbage. All that power, you get smoked by a Wrenn and 6. Anyway, all this card is just absolute nothing. What else do we have? I like that one, Spellstarter Sprite. That is such a cool card. Now useless. Blue 1 generic 1/1 flash and flying enters the battlefield. Counter target spell with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of fairies you control. Loved it. LN Chan Gaming with Pestermite. Truth be told, this probably could see some play right now if it wasn't for how harsh the 1 toughness it is on 1 toughness creatures at the moment. It's a blue 2 generic 2/1 fairy rogue with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may tap or untap target permanent, and it combos with Kiki Jiki. And there's a lot of cards to enable this combo, but like it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. One time, like when half your combo just dies off to a bunch of main deck cards from your opponent. I guess it sort of plays around Wrenn and 6 because Wrenn and 6 is sorcery speed, but now with Orcish Bowmasters, it's straight up impossible. Carlos, the modern players have entered the house. Memnite. 0 mana 1/1. That might look. I don't know. Commander players, what do you guys think of this card? I should add. This should be something like. We should have a show where we like get Commander players to react to like modern cards to get them to think like how strong or weak this is. And you modern players out there, you have to just not vote. Because this is like, it's Affinity Commander. Did we do, I don't know. Maybe we did do Memnite. So yeah, Memnite like real crap now. Used to be part of Affinity. Still part of Hammer Time, which is dropping in numbers at the side of that Bowmasters. Bowmasters laying down the law to the Hammer Time deck. Yeah, this card. This is the card that looks. In my mind, I would think Commander players would think this card is crap because it's just a 0 mana 1/1. I think. I don't know how you guys enable how you use this card in Commander. But in Modern, it's like, it's devastating. 0 mana 1/1, you could like spew a bunch of these things on the battlefield and get affinity going like immediately. Yeah, vote for strong or weak, that's good. But now Hammer is rising up again. Okay, well maybe maybe Mem Knight hasn't had the last laugh yet. Maybe it's still on its way. What else do we have here? Oh, Houston, how innocent you are. Draga Tree Speaker. That does not see play in Modern at all. I don't even know what that card is. What about Warren Instigator? Also does not see play. I know, this is that, what is it, Double Strike Goblin. Put a card from your hand onto the battlefield. Also doesn't seem to play. Just a little too weak. Too weak. Burnt-in Forge Tender, essential cyborg card against mono red. Ah. Probably could still be that if they wanted to. Yeah, the white 1/1 pro red. Because that does have protection from, like, Ren and 6. Sacrifice it, prevent all damage. A red source of your choice would deal this turn. Was also brought in, I think, versus some... Like, you could bring it in versus Shadow because they had a lot of red cards. But now, like, Bowmasters would just blow it up. Poof! Kapow! A Danto Vanguard? Maybe in Pioneer. This card is pro Ragavan, that's right. Someone should just build anti-Ragavan, anti-Fury, anti-Grief, anti-black-red. Just pro-red, pro-black, everything, and see how well that works in Modern right now. Skrelv, unfortunately not. Did see some play in Pioneer, though. Yeah, pro-Fury. Narcomoeba. That actually might work, actually. Narcomoeba. Because there are some decks built around Narcomoeba, and you have to sack them to bring, like, creatures back from your graveyard to play. But clearly, like, way worse value. When it's put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you can put it onto the battlefield. That's whatever. Just kill them off. It dies. Dan with the super chat. Catapult Fodder. All right, this card never saw play, but in Modern, but it won't. It never will now. Thanks to Dan. We got the... Hold on, it's not even a 1 toughness creature. Disqualified. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures that each have toughness greater than their power, transform Catapult Fodder. Well, that has nothing to do with the show. We got Pacers fan forever throwing in something. Hellspark Elemental or Spark Elemental. Some budget decks played this before, basically. Yeah, the red 1 generic 3/1 Trample Haste, and you can unearth it again. Does get matched up by Orcish Bowmasters, but was really not that good to begin with. I also forgot, yeah, Dark Blaster was also like a beating to the 1 toughness creatures. I did feel the wrath of that thing before. Alright, that's it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for letting me vent today, because it's a different world now. 2 toughness is the new 1 toughness in Modern, if they keep up with what they're doing here, with the obliterating all the 1 toughness creatures. So thank you for joining me for Coffee and MTG today. So if you want to be part of the show, be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks, everyone, for supporting the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you support with the Super Chats to be part of this show. And most importantly, we've got to thank everyone who shows up in the morning, like Houston, we've got Rotboy, Azzy, Flya, Pacers fan forever, Toads, Witherfang, Tommy, Siddons, Erlin, Toads. Who else do we have here? We got, yeah, Web of Music, Christopher B, Platonic Liquid, Steve Cooper. Did I give you a shout out? I gave you a shout out, Houston. Super Fast Tortoise, super fast as usual. And as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. I gotta brew up myself another Frappuccino here, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the next cup.